guys, you should spend the money. Yeah, just got back from Colorado. We have gone every year since 2018. Well, last year we obviously didn't get to go. It is the best investment and the best time just being with my family, with my kids. They take care of us so well there, but more than anything, like they just share Jesus the entire, it's like going to church camp with your kids. It's just amazing. So
It's
absolutely
awesome.
love it. I ate dessert for every meal, second helpings at every meal. It was unbelievable. So yeah, just got
I
back.
support it. I support every minute of it.
Yeah, my stomach does not, but like I'm here, life's meant to be lived. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Got you. Well, we are so excited to have you on. Like Sarah and I, say hi to Sarah.
Hey,
She's right here with us.
hey, Sarah.
Sarah and I and our whole team honestly has just fangirled over you from day one. We just have always loved you the most. And your panels at conference are always like basically what we go for. Like we fly to
Stop.
Florida to watch you speak.
Thank you. Very kind. I'll say thank you.
It really is true, but we just love you. And so we're really, really excited to have you on. And so, but if you would start with just sharing your story, because we clearly know how awesome you are, but I want to make sure everybody does.
You are so sweet. I well, hi everyone, and I'm so pumped to be on here. It is always such an honor. I never take that for granted when a leader says, "Hey, come share." Oh, sorry, my recordings are wanting to pop up from the last one. When a leader says, "Hey, we want you to share, and we want you to, come and give back to our team." I mean, what an honor. So, first of all, hi, and thank you guys for listening to me. My name is Ashley. I am from Lubbock, Texas, and I next month is my 10-year anniversary, which is just like insane to say because I feel like the new kid at times, and then to have to remember, like, wait, I'm like one of the old vets in this business, but I love it so much. And like a lot of you, the business was presented to me in a Facebook message that was about 743 paragraphs long. That was way too much info about these fat patches and about how you could still drink Dr. Pepper and eat chicken nuggets and it's still tone tightened and firm in 45 minutes and that I should come and sell these and they were the most amazing thing ever. And I got to the end, you guys, and I deleted the message. Dumbest mistake. I lost 2 weeks. I always say there's 2 weeks I'll never get back. Um, and I just ignored the message. And I thought, number one, there is no way that a product like that actually works. Number two, even if it does work, I don't have the time or the money to be in a business like that. I mean, and then third of all, those things are pyramids. I mean, they're pyramid schemes. I'm not getting involved in that. I feel so bad for my friend that got sucked into it. I'm a real business owner because I had a store at the time where I was making no money and putting all my money back into the store. But I was a real business owner, and so the truth is that there's actually a whole funny story in between there about my father-in-law asking if we should get on Twitter. That's a whole other like 5-minute thing I could go down. That really led me to saying, you know what? There's this no, you shouldn't get on social media because then you'll have random girls from junior high message you about selling their fat patches. That was my exact line. And he said, and my mother-in-law goes, "What's a fat patch?" And I said, "I don't know. It tones and it like supposed to firm up your stomach in 45 minutes." And she goes, "Oh, I want one," just like that. And I went, "Well, crap, I do too." So I called Tiffany back, signed up, and the rest seriously is, I mean, if you want to call it history, there you go. So signed up, and I'm sure you're asking more for the business side, not for what made me actually jump in, but that's kind of what made me jump in. And you guys, I always tell people that three things happened and they came together perfectly. The very first thing that happened that helped my success, the very first thing that happened was I need to see what those are about and see if there's actually a business behind it, figure out how to sell it. I did my training, and during that training, there was Pam was explaining cabs or coding or leadership, whatever we call it. I'm sorry, I'm old school. explain the 80, 80, 80, 80 and the license to print money. And when I tell you my mind exploded, I looked at my husband and said, I'm about to make us $1 million. Like, just watch, here we go. So that was the very first thing, was that passion, that ignorance. I jumped in, I started messaging everybody I knew. And you guys, this was my exact line. If you want the script, it was, hey girl, I'm about to go make $1 million. Are you coming with me or not? And they'll be like, Ashley, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I don't even know. And they'll be like, well, what is it? I was like, I don't even know. I haven't even tried it, but let's try it together. Let's see what happens. I just had that feeling like I'm on to something here and I'm going to make this work. So that was the very first thing, was just jumping in with that blind, ridiculous passion, that ignorance on fire that we talk about. So that was the very first thing. The second thing is that I had built a network for a long time, you guys. And so people will go, well, how'd you go ambassador in 7 months? And the truth is that I had been building a network for years. I owned a store, I owned a bridal show. Like, you know, those shows that you set up and you pay like a fee to get a 10 by 10 booth. I was the girl that owned the booths. Like, you'd pay me the fee to do the booths. And so I did that. I sang in a classic rock band. You guys, I did all this stuff. And like, because of that, I had this crazy network. So when I said, hey, I'm doing this, yes, there were people that said no, but there were a lot of people that said, okay, I mean, you've been in business a lot, as long as I've known you, let's see what happens. So that's the second thing that happened was, and I remind people, you're going to build your network either way. You either come in with a great network and it can help your speed, or you build your network. It's network marketing either way. And then the third thing that happened that helped me go that quickly and really jump in was, I just had some great people that said yes. And I got kind of lucky at where they were on my chart. One girl that actually went presidential in a year, and was the double for me to go ambassador. I wanted her in another spot completely and was mad, and they wouldn't move her for me. And so that was just kind of like luck and God's grace, right? Like, she ended up being this 400 bucks on my top line that ended up, you know, going double diamond in 2.5 months. And so some of it was luck too. And so there you go. I think all you wanted me to do was just like tell my name and where I'm from. And I just said all that. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted all of that. I wanted all of it. I really did. And
he's like, and we're out of time. Ashley won't shut up. I'm sorry.
No, listen, we set a time to respect your time. We would sit here and listen to you talk all night. So you can
all good. I've been working all day. The only thing I have left on my agenda is to binge, you know, The Bachelorette, obviously. But I've watched that train wreck before it crashes. So I'm here for it. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad that you shared all of that. And I didn't want you to downplay the ambassador in 7 months. Like, I didn't want you to downplay it. I didn't want you to skim over it. I wanted to pay attention to it, because I love when you just said you either come in with your network or you build your network. Right. And I love that you've been doing this for 10 years. It just shows the longevity of the business. And that's one of the things we really wanted to ask you about. So I'm going to pass it to Sarah so she can kind of ask you that, but we wanted every part of it.
Okay, good.
Hey, Ashley, when Claire said that we would listen to you all night, like, she wasn't lying. I think
you're sweet. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. No, Claire and I joined around the same time. And like since day one, we have been like the biggest fangirls. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's true. This is awesome.
I mean, stop, but keep going. Okay. I'm embarrassed, but keep going.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay. Well, I mean, Claire touched on it a little bit, and your story is a story of longevity in this business and a story of longevity in, you know, business in general. And I love hearing that. I think it almost, and not for everybody, but I think for some people, put some fears to rest when they hear a traditional business owner is in this business and loving it and finding more success in it than you did in your traditional business. And I feel like it's such a good thing to touch on. So anyways, Ashley, you've created such a stable, like, solid business in the time that you've been in It Works. And I want you to just like share about that. There's been so many changes in how you've marketed, changes in products, changes in basically everything in the business in 10 years. How have you like gone with the flow of that, learned, grown, and created this incredible business?
Well, that is an awesome question. And I think you said it in the answer. I mean, in the question. My answer is in your question, which is I just knew that I wasn't ready to be done. I just knew that there was more. I knew that if other people were figuring it out, that I could figure it out. That's probably one of the main tips I could leave any of you with, which is people are figuring it out, so you can too. You really can. And I knew that I just kind of grew up that way. I grew up in a weird family, to be honest. But one thing that was awesome, and I hope my parents aren't somehow on here, but they know they're weird. But I grew up in a weird family. But the one thing my parents really did right, they did a couple things right, but one of them was they just never let me believe that I couldn't do something. There was no part of me that was ever told you can't or you shouldn't. And so my dad would always say, what one man can do, another man can do. And it would make me think, okay, well, if she's doing it, I can do it. And I remember watching trainings at the beginning and seeing like these shy, timid girls talking and, you know, being like, I just made like $10,000 a month. And I was like, well, shoot, if you can do it, I know. Thank you so much. Like, shoot, if you can do it, I know I can do it. And I think that there was that kind of like confidence and feeling of other people have done this and gone before me, which means I know that it can be done. So that helped along the way, figuring out that I can't just keep doing things the way that we were doing. You guys, I have run the gamut. When I started, I went ambassador in 7 months, barely using Facebook. We didn't even really use it. I kind of used groups. I posted my before and after pictures one time. Everything was kind of done through Messenger or through text. I mean, I still had a BlackBerry when I went ambassador. I think I got an iPhone right before I went. And so I think more than anything, it was just not staying stuck. There were moments I wanted to, there were moments I wanted to dig my heels in so hard, you guys, and go, no, this is what worked. This is what we're going to keep on doing because this is how it's always been done. Like, trust me, I felt that way a lot. I mean, a lot. But then I kind of realized, wait a minute. I mean, you guys, I've gone through all of it, like working Facebook, where we used to be able to do this thing where we could post a hair, skin, and nail picture and then pay $5 to boost that post and tag 100 people in it. And I remember signing like 20 customers from one post one time. I mean, they got rid of it 3 months later. If I were to be like, well, then my business is over. Right. I think of all the girls that there were so many ladies that were in like the top 10 and the top 20, like 2012 to 2015, where Facebook pages were huge. And they would like share a recipe and it would get shared 1 million times. And then the next post they'd make about wraps, they'd sign up 50 customers. And I just remember being like, and then Facebook pages got to where they didn't show up with algorithm stuff, right? And you had to pay for everything. And so it was like, okay, well, that doesn't work anymore. What do we do? And I'll always regret not jumping into Instagram. I remember telling my team and my leaders, guys, if you want to go mess with it, you can, but I'm telling you, I don't think it'll be here tomorrow. Like, who says that? Who says that? And so I mean, that lesson I had to learn from that. And that's why when TikTok came out, I went, I will not miss that boat. I will do it. I'll figure it out. I'll be the old lady on it. I don't care. I'm going to freaking figure out TikTok, because I didn't want it to be one more like Instagram that passed me by. And I remember being frustrated watching people blow up on Instagram and being like, well, I can't figure it out. And I'm not going to learn one more social media thing. Y'all, my head got really weird. That's just one little example. But I have had to learn over the years that if I want to stay in the business and not just stay, here's the deal. I don't want to just stay. I want to grow in the business. I want my team to grow. I want my team to have success. That requires me leading from the front. That requires me not just being content with where I'm at and being like, guys, the view on this mountain's amazing, but I don't really care if you get here or not. Like, what kind of leader does that? So I don't want to be stuck. I continually want to be climbing new mountains, and I want to be able to say, hey, if they're doing it, I can figure it out. And that would be my advice to you, man. Write that down and repeat it to yourself every day. What one woman can do, another woman can do. And it's not to take anything away from that other woman's success. It's just simply, she's shown you the way. She's shown you can do it. So go do it. Did that answer your question? I feel like it did.
It did.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
No, it absolutely did. That's so good. Oh, I feel like that was so empowering, and I want to write it down. What one man can do, another man can do. What one woman can do, another woman can do.
Yeah.
I think that's just so powerful. That moment that we changed from, you know, if she can do it, maybe I could do it, to like, if she can do it, I can definitely do it. And I think
yeah.
when everything changes.
Yeah.
So good. Also hearing you talk about Instagram now, I'm like, man, that's like how people are going to be talking about TikTok, or you saying you signed 50 customers from one post. One day we're going to be sitting here going, yeah, I remember when I used to sign like 20 distributors from one video. Like,
yeah, for sure. Exactly.
so it's going to keep changing. There will be something new.
It will always change. It will always change. And you're doing your business a disservice if you stay stuck in one thing and say, well, this is how it's always been done, and this is how I'm going to keep doing it. I would have been gone a long time ago. And the sad thing is I've watched so many people fade out of this business or quit this business or jump to another business because that was where their mindset was. Well, it should still work like this. Well, the only thing that you are guaranteed in life is that it's going to change, right? Like it is going to change. Nothing is going to stay exactly the same. And so I feel like that's got to be such a big part of your story, is saying, hey, I figured, the word of the year last year was what? Pivot. Everybody was talking about. Makes me think of Ross always, but that we have to pivot constantly and be able to go, hey, this was working. This is not working anymore. Do y'all remember when we used to do like online parties were the rage? I remember one time we had like 550 people on one team party and signed up like 40 distributors in one night from one little 30-minute like online thing that was all scheduled out. I'll just be honest, that's not really the best way to get people anymore, right? I'm not saying it won't come back around, but that's not working. You can't stay stuck. You have to constantly be moving forward. I already hit that point. I'm done. Sorry.
Oh, it's so good. I kind of want to jump down in our questions really quickly because I want to kind of jump to what you're looking forward to with It Works. And I want to piggyback off of that with a question that I wasn't really planning on asking, but it's a question that I just genuinely want the answer to.
Okay.
In 10 years, you've seen a lot of people fade out of the business. You've seen a lot of people walk away from the business.
Yeah.
Why haven't you?
These are in no particular order. Is that fair? Because my mind wants to stop and put all these things in order, but I'm moving too quick to do that. So don't hold me to the order of this list, okay? But there's a couple of things. The first one's the paycheck. I mean, I have built an incredible income for my family working as hard as I have. And you guys, those first years, I always make sure people know that first year was a complete blur. Those 7 months, I don't remember much of them. I cried a lot. I was tired a lot. I remember fighting with my husband a lot. My daughter was 3 months old when I started. I remember she took her first steps, and I like have it on video, but I don't even remember being present for the moment. I remember my friends and family being like, you don't look good. You don't sound good. I never slept. When I talk about a sacrifice or an investment, it was not, you don't move that fast, that quickly without losing some things or investing a lot into some things. And so I say all of that to say work that I did in 2011 and 2012 is still paying me in 2021. So I look at it like the work I'm doing in 2021 is going to be paying me in 2031. That's part of what keeps me going. Is you guys go out there and look for it. You are never going to find any kind of income and residual income like what we've got. You just won't. You will not. Like, I dare you. Go to your boss tomorrow and say, hey, I worked like so hard last week. My hope is that 2 years from now, like, still going to pay me on that work that I did last week. I mean, go do it. See if they laugh you out of the office. And yet in this business, that's exactly what happens. The work that I did in 2011, there's still like a random diamond cab leg, you guys, that is still going and still pays me every month. And it's just an 80 diamond cab leg from a party that I did in a teacher's lounge at the high school about 5 miles from here in 2011, in October of 2011. I was trying to go triple. I needed volume, did this random teacher's lounge party. And that one, from that girl came a girl, down the line, like 28 levels deep, that's still paying me on a diamond cab leg. Tell me where else you're going to find something like that. So that's one of them, the money. I think that, I mean, the second one, see, this is why I can't be held to a particular order, because now I'm about to sound like a jerk. The first is the money, the second, but the second is the people. I love watching people push past what they thought they could do. I love watching people develop. I love watching people come to know the Lord through this business. I just love watching people's growth. I love watching them get it. So, and then on top of that, you guys, I was the girl that when they said their motto was like friendship, fun, and freedom. And I kid you not, I remember telling my husband, like, I have plenty of friends. I'm a barrel of fun on my own. And I live in America. I already am free. I was like, this is the dumbest tagline I've ever heard. Like, I'm gonna make up my own tagline because this company's ridiculous. I'm not even kidding. This is how ego and weird I was back then. And so but now the thought of those friendships that I've made, like those ties and those bonds, I mean, that's a big reason. I know that a lot of times whenever I've wanted to, maybe quit, or I don't know about quit fully, but just kind of fade out, I would call it, that they are part of what keeps me in. I think the other thing, and that the company they do a pretty good job of this, and a really good job, I think, is just continually saying, hey, we're going to try this. Let's see if it works. That didn't work. Let's try something else. Like, they're constantly modeling what we should be doing in our own business, which is trying stuff. Sometimes it's amazing, right? And sometimes it's like, that didn't go so well. Let's try something new. I think of, like, Claire, you've been around a while too, like, Man Bear, and there's been like different things they've like tried to get going and get the marketing. It's like, okay, maybe that didn't do exactly what they hoped for. Let's try something else. And I love that they model that for us. So that's another big thing that kind of keeps me here and keeps me going. And I think the other thing too, I don't know where this falls on the list, but I mean, don't you guys just kind of wake up and go, what's next? Who's next? Okay, God, what else do you have for me? Like, is there somebody new? Who am I going to meet today? Who am I going to talk today? Like, am I going to make a sale today? I mean, just kind of like the thrill of the hunt, if you want to call it that. That aspect of it, for someone like me that is constantly moving and going and wanting to do new stuff, this business fulfills like a part of that's just in my soul and who God created me to be. That just, I conquer something, I'm ready to conquer the next thing. Well, within this business, like, there's always another level or another mountain or another thing or another something that keeps me going and keeps me excited. So that might not be the exhaustive list or in the right order, but there's a lot of the reasons why.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I feel like hearing all of that, it just makes me so excited for what's to come. And I think another part to that question that we wanted to touch on was really like, what is making you excited about the next 5-10 years? I mean,
Yeah.
you've been in for a decade. What makes you excited for the next, and why are you trusting it works? I mean, you've touched on a number of things, but why are you trusting it works to like bring you into your next 10 years in a really, really good way?
Well, I think a couple things, like you said, I mentioned those already. I would say kind of waking up and not really knowing what's next. For some people that would freak them out. If you've ever done the Tony Robbins things, he talks about like needing our 4 basic needs. And like one of mine is variety. Like, I don't need security as much as I need to kind of wake up and be like, what's the next adventure that we're doing? And so I think that's just a big part of it, is that I know the company has plans, but I also know that they allow God to direct their steps. And so I get excited thinking about, okay, well, what does God have next for the company? Like, what is it? And that, and knowing that, and really trusting and feeling like they're going to listen to that and follow that, is part of why I stay. It's part of what I look forward to in this business, is just kind of like, wow, the journey's been insane, and 10 years went like that. Y'all, the thought that I would still be doing a Zoom and telling my story when I'm 39 and a half, the thought that I would be 49 and a half and like still sitting telling my story, it sounds crazy, but I think I'll be doing that. I really do. I could see myself doing it, because I think this company allows you to grow. You can grow with the company. They grow alongside you. And so that is something that I'm looking forward to. I also just don't even feel like some of the best people in my business have even come into my business yet. And not that sounded like a slam against the people I already have. That's not what I meant. But I just truly believe there's even more incredible relationships and even more incredible leaders and people that just, do it in even more record speed. Like my prayer and something that I journal all the time is, okay, God, you showed favor on me and ambassador in 7 months. Like, could I have the girl that's going to go ambassador in 6 months? Like, I want her on my team. Could I please have her? Because I could show her what to do. And that's the kind of stuff that like keeps me excited and keeps me looking forward, is I just really feel like I have, there's just more to do. I'm not done. When he says I'm done, I'll be done. But I just feel like there's so much more to accomplish in this business. And things I haven't done yet, mistakes and like wrongs that I've done that I feel like I get to make right. This is one like simple thing, but something that just came to mind is, y'all, when I first started, I was not one team, one mission at all. I didn't have a brain cell for that. I didn't have a concept for it. I worked in, I had my store. Like I didn't want competition. I didn't understand competition. Like that wasn't really, I don't know if that makes any sense. And so I remember them talking about one team, one mission. And I was like, it's not one team, one paycheck. Like you do you, I'll do me. And you will just like catch each other on the flip side. I'm not here to help I'm here to help my business and my team, not your team. And, that is something that when I look back, like God softened my heart and he's so gracious to be like, Ashley, like, no, sweet girl, let's do something different. And just show me a better way. Thank God. And that's something that like I get to make up for now. Like Claire could be like, Ashley, I need you to whatever. I'd be like, okay, let's do it. Whatever you need. I would happily do it now. And that wasn't who I was before. So just seeing kind of that grow, that watching God grow me into somebody that I can be proud of, and to think that in 10 more years, I'm going to be that much more proud of the woman I am now. I mean, that's just insane to me. So a lot of it too is on this journey. I feel like I have a chance to kind of not fix the mistakes, but just learn from them, help other people learn from those mistakes so that hopefully they can move even faster. Does that make any sense? I don't know. That was just like one small example, but that was a mistake I made at the beginning for sure.
That's so good. It's so good. How have you gotten through the times when it's not fun, gotten through the valleys? Because I know there's been a lot of those in 10 years too.
Well, I'm afraid I'll be repetitive because I feel like that list that I kind of made, that I gave you earlier, where you said like, what kind of keeps you here or whatever that question was. I'm sorry, something along those lines. I feel like that really kind of the same. I really feel like those are sort of the same answers. And knowing that I think just knowing that, and how this comes from walking with the Lord for a long time too. And not that I have it all figured out spiritually by any means, but I just refuse to believe that like the best is behind me. I know that there is more and better, and more growth, more love, more freedom, more friends, more all of it out in front of me. And so I just think that that's part of what keeps me going through, the times whenever I'm like, what am I doing slinging fat patches for a living? Like, what am I doing? When those moments creep up, or gosh, when people quit, those are, gosh, isn't that hard? And Claire, I know you have dealt with this in this, the same way that I have. When friends walk away, when people betray your trust, when people just don't show up. I mean, it's not that all of that is completely like doesn't happen to me, or that I can just brush it off. It's just that I'm secure enough in the promises that God's given me to hang tight and to know that it gets better. I think of some ladies that left, that you guys, my circle was so tight for a while. In a negative way, in a way where like nobody else could be in my circle because my circle was already filled, right? And I remember some girls leaving and being so heartbroken. And then because of that, and because of some work that, God kind of walked me through, that was where I met Kim. And that was really where I let like Alyssa kind of more into my circle. That was where I opened up my heart and was like, okay, there's this little nugget and she's like a diamond or a double diamond, like, kind of brought her into my circle and said, okay, let's do this. And became vulnerable again, and like let that guard down and let those walls down again, because every single time you go through something like that and somebody lets you down or people walk away or whatever it is, it can chip away at like a little bit of your soul. And you either go, okay, there was a purpose for that pain. Let's figure out what it is. Like, God, I'm ready to figure out what it is. Or you let it make you really, really bitter and jaded and hate the business and hate, hate your other teammates and all of that stuff. And so I just kind of I was fortunate enough to kind of make that choice to say, all right, I'm going to figure out why this happened. And then the other thing, you guys, let's just be really honest. I'm tired of being existential and and just like super spiritual here. Like, people just give up. Like, some people just suck and they just leave and they just lie to you. And some people just do really crappy things. And here's the deal though. They would do it whenever I was a business owner and had a store. They will do it in network marketing. They do it when you're selling cars. They do it if you're an accountant, and like a real accountant. I'm not talking about a weird accountant. It's like they do it. I mean, they do it in church. They do it in families. It's not unique to this business. And so I think that was such a big realization years and years ago, is like, this isn't an it works problem. This is just a people problem. Like, people just give up. People just walk away. People just will crap on you at times. And you have a choice. You either go, oh, well, then I'm leaving this profession, or, oh, I'm walking away. Or you say, that really stings. God, please help me not be bitter from that. Now, who's the next person? Let's go fill that spot. And did that answer your question? I hope.
Man, that was so good. I feel like I'm just sitting over here like in awe of this like concept of allowing God to just continue to refine through the process of everything that happens within our business. And it really can feel so consuming often. And I think anybody on here can relate to that feeling where like sometimes it feels like if I can't enroll for a certain amount of time, or if somebody leaves, or if I'm feeling off my game or whatever, that it feels all consuming. That's all that matters. But then allowing my faith to just say, no, like, God's refining, he is working it. Like, the residual of the stuff that I'm going through right now is actually going to be gold in the future. Like, that is so encouraging.
Yes.
So encouraging.
And you know what? Just one thing that you said that I want to, whoever needs to hear this, because there's at least one person that needs to hear this, and I have to be reminded constantly. You guys, I am very performance driven. If you haven't noticed in the last like 33 minutes we've been together, insanely performance driven to a fault, to a point that there are like the number one issue that I have spiritually is just really believing like God loves me truly, that I don't have to do anything. And so guess what? That carries into my business too. And do you know how many days I wake up and have to remind myself, like, wait a minute, God loves me. God loves me whether I sign up a customer or not. And I know somebody needs to hear that. Like, your worth, your value, the love that God has for you is not dependent upon your performance in this business. It's not dependent on your performance in life in general, but it's definitely not dependent upon your performance in this business. And as God has slowly like unraveled that lie and showed me so many times where it shows up in my business, in my marriage, in my friendships. Oh my gosh. Every time he's good enough to show me that, man, then I'm able to work and have relationships from a place of love and not feeling like I have to do something to be valuable. And that's another thing that has helped tremendously in this journey. Claire, when you'd ask me about like the valleys and how do you walk through that, like knowing some of this really tough stuff that I say tough stuff, that's all in perspective, right? But some of the tougher things in this business, I think just knowing, okay, that person walking away doesn't determine my worth. That person leaving me on red doesn't determine my worth. That person saying that they're going to do something and then not doing it doesn't determine my worth. I get to show up and I get to be the best version of myself every day. And I feel like that's what gets honored. And that's where the blessing comes from this business, and where the confidence continues to grow in this business is, I know if I show up consistently over time, good things are going to happen, period. And even if they don't, my value is not determined upon what number I am in this company. I let that go about 3 years ago. Y'all, it's hard. It creeps up, man. I don't know what number I am right now, but I told my husband, even while we were in Colorado, I was like, they could call me number 40. They could call me number 2. They could call me number 99. They call me number 2041 or number 1. I'm not saying that I don't value that at all, or that I don't care or wouldn't be grateful and honored, but my worth is, I've like finally seen where that, like that part is I'm done with that. Like, I'm good. I'm God's kid no matter what. He loves me no matter what. This business is going to be okay no matter where things have fluctuated that year. There's going to be lean years and really, really fat years. The Bible talks about that. And if I'm in a lean year, that doesn't mean I'm less valuable or less worthy. There's so much that I still have to offer and give, and that God wants to do through this business. So anyway, for those of you that are feeling like you're going to get to a certain title, man, if I could just get to ambassador, I'll feel so much. No, that's got its whole new level of crap you have to deal with. It's not a title, and it's not a money amount, and you can chase it all day, you guys. I'm telling you, until you realize that your worth is found, till you realize that it's not found in your performance, you're going to constantly feel like you're on a wheel and spinning and struggling. So sidebar, sorry, Sarah. Try again. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next question. I'm sorry.
I mean, if we could just have a whole entire night of sidebars, I'm here for it.
I'm queen of the sidebar. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't remember your question, but here's 5 thoughts that ran through my head. Sorry.
Well, I love that I didn't have a question and you took the reins anyways. I'm like, just do that anytime. Feel free. I mean, I feel kind of silly going into this last question, but
That's okay.
well, it feels a little, I mean, it's good. It's a good question, but it's more, it feels nuts and bolts. And
Okay.
I'm a kind of person that you can just talk like all the lovey-dovey, like spiritual things to me all day, and I'll just melt and love it and like feel great about it. But I do want to get into this because it's so important.
Yeah.
And it's the bread and butter of our business. Is we broke it down into enrolling, leading, and training. And I feel like when you talk and when you just in what you just said here, this is how you lead your team. And I feel like it just pours out of you, and I see that. But I know that you also do really specific things. It's not just who you are. It's not just your passion. It's you do certain things. So tell us how it is that you are doing all the things that you need to do for your business. You're not just enrolling, but you're training people up to be diamonds and above. You're not just on TikTok making funny content. You're actually doing something else with it. Like, how are you doing all of this? What is, like, give us some guidance there.
No, it's, I teach my team this little formula, and I appreciate you getting back to nuts and bolts. Trust me. I love the nuts. I love the nuts and bolts of the business too. And also I just found a ruler. So you're welcome for spinning this around while I talk. Sorry, it's clear, but it's distracting. I feel like within this business, there really are like 4 pillars that you have to do. And then the leadership kind of gets layered on top of that. So within this business, sharing has to be number 1. Now, we used to do blitzing, where we would go out and give business cards, whether that's posting, whether that's sharing to your stories, whatever that might be, sharing and just like turning on your open sign. Okay. That's step 1. Now, here's the problem, is that some people will do this and think that that's all they have to do. But if you are not doing all 4 of these things, you have to almost think of it like a table. I wish I had I've done this before with markers. Like, imagine that I've got 4 markers, and I lay the piece of paper on top of it, right? Like, your business is going to crumble if it's only got 3 legs, 2 legs, right? It's got to have all 4 of these things. So that's the very first thing, is sharing. And obviously we do that in a variety of ways, through TikTok, through Instagram, through whatever it might be. The second thing is inviting people to look at your business. You guys, this almost always comes from either picking up the phone and talking to people, which I know gives some people anxiety, or asking the direct question, would you take a look at what I have to offer? Would you be open to more information? Not just posting about it, but literally giving people an invitation, right? And so that's the second thing. The third thing is follow up. You have got to be following up. There is just no other way around it. Follow up is the key. It is such a big part of what we do every single day. I could give you all the statistics. I've heard anywhere from 7 to 21 times. It depends on which website you look at. And I realize that's a big number, but if it takes the average person 7 to 21 times to see something before they actually commit to it and jump in and say yes, then we can't expect to post about something once or twice and then wonder why, people aren't joining or signing up with us. So for my pillars, where was I? Asking, sharing, follow up. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of my fourth leg? Y'all, this is embarrassing. Yes, thank you, Alyssa. Adding new. Thank you, so Alyssa. Alyssa's heard my speech before. Hey, I didn't even know you were still on here. I love you so much. Thank you. First of all, that girl, speaking of somebody from 2011, this leader of mine like signed up 2 weeks after I did. I told her not to. I was like, don't spend your money. I don't even know if this thing's a scam yet. She went behind my back, signed up anyway. Now she's an ambassador, triple diamond 2.0, killing it. And listening to my Zooms 10 years later, like a good friend. So the other thing is adding new constantly. Now, the main way we're doing that right now is through what? Host to post. Like you could say that host to post is the fourth layer, but that will change. There will come a point where host to post doesn't work the same way, right? Just like everything else is switched, but adding new people, getting out in front of new people and growing your network. And then to layer on top of that, the leadership, just leading by example, loving people, encouraging people, helping them figure out, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. What are the missing steps in between here? I mean, that to me has always been my simple definition of leadership is someone wants to be here, but they are here. How do I help them get over here? First, and figuring out what that looks like. Is it just loving them a whole lot? Is it guiding them? Is it really giving them step-by-step actions? Is it laying the plan out very specifically? Is it just cheering them on from the sidelines? Like, I mean, I have needed Alyssa more just because I know she's on. I have needed her more in the last year and been like, what should I do? So many times than she has needed me. And she doesn't need that from me. But guess what? She knows I show up. She knows I love her. I encourage her. I support her. And that's the kind of leadership I have with her. With other people, it looks totally different. So I think that's what she would ask, right? Those are the four things that you have that I feel like you have to do. My recipe that I forgot the fourth thing, which appreciate it. Those are the four things, but I feel like any one of those without the other is where the problem comes in. So people will tell me, Ashley, I'm doing host to post. I'm doing all the things. Anytime someone says I'm doing all the things, I'm always like, oh, no, you're not. Or very rarely are people doing all the things. If all of those things are being done, and you seriously are every single day going, Ashley, I am doing look at my numbers. This is what I'm doing. Then I can almost always trace it back to mindset, almost always trace it back to belief, either, a fear of failure, fear of success, not believing in yourself to go further, or just you haven't self-developed enough to get to that next level. Like it's coming, but it's just not quite there yet. God may be needing to just kind of refine some spots. I don't know. But it almost always goes back to mindset if people are actually doing all the things. So there you go.
This has been so good. So good. And I feel like, I know we had another question, but I actually think we're just going to wrap up here because it would take us on a different wavelength, which I still want to hear sometime, and maybe get you on a leadership level call. But
I'd love to. I know which question you're talking about, and I agree with you. It's maybe not for this moment, but seriously, Claire, anytime, and like I'll invite my girls on it too. It's just something I'm super passionate about. But I agree, it's a totally different wavelength. But I'll talk about
that one then.
Yeah.
We'll do it at some point because I actually really want to hear that because you answered that question in the page and I was like, oh, and so then I tacked that one on the end. So yeah. We'll do that. We'll do a leadership conversation. That'll be really good. So the last thing I'm going to have you do is throwing it back to like little baby Claire and Sarah in the business. We sent each other a video of you sitting in the car after pickup line and you prayed over everyone who was watching your Periscope.
I remember that. I know exactly.
Your Periscope.
I know exactly. Was I talking about my basket? Was I talking about the thing with the basket? Yeah, yes. I know exactly which one you're talking about. It was an impactful lesson for me. I remember exactly what you're talking about.
You completely stole our hearts on that Periscope. Like, I mean, we already loved you. We thought you were funny, but then when you did that, we were just like done, like sold, like this is amazing. And it also was really impactful for us just with our buy-in for the company in general at that time. And so that was like huge. I mean, that's a big moment for us. So I would just love to have you pray over us and just
love to. I would love to. I just prayed over my team and it is like something I end with every single time. And I love that so much. And I would love to pray with you guys, for you, with you, around you, over you, all of the prepositions. Let's do it. God, I just thank you so much for who you are. I thank you for Claire and Sarah. I thank you for just the opportunity to share more about this business that I love so much with their team. And so thank you just for that opportunity. God, I just pray for every single person that is on this Zoom. God, wherever they are at in their business, we know first and foremost that you love us, period, end of story. You love us, and we're so thankful for that. It all starts there. I just want to pray for every single person that is working their business, God, that you would just give them favor, that you would open doors, that you would give them new opportunities, that you would give them fresh perspective, fresh new development, fresh new ideas. God, more than anything, I pray that we, as we walk through this business and this journey, that we realize that the highs, the lows, all of it are such a great learning experience to get us where you want us to go, to become the kind of people you want us to be. And so I thank you for using such an incredible business like It Works to help refine us and grow us. And I just ask that as we walk through this business, as we move forward every day, that we would invite you just to be a part of it, that we would invite you to share in all of it, in the high and in the low. God, we know you're there through all of that. And I pray that new people would join us. I pray that when they do, that they would be excited, that they would have a passion, that they would have a readiness for this business. And I just also want to thank you for the way that you love us, and thank you for the incredible opportunity that this business has been for so many of us, financially and spiritually, and for our families. God, it's just been such a blessing, and we want to give all glory back to you. Ask that we would sleep well tonight, good, deep, restful sleep, and wake up refreshed and ready for whatever you have for us tomorrow. God, keep that at the forefront of our mind, that you say that you're going to do something new. And so we just want to be expectant and ready for that, for whatever new thing it is that you have for us. We love you so much. It's your name I pray. Amen. Oh my gosh, Dan, did y'all just hear my husband? He just said amen. And he scared me because my eyes were closed. That's sweet of you. Thanks.
Just snuck right in there.
He just said, real deep, he was like, amen. Yes, Lord. Like, what? Where did that voice come from? So awkward. Go take your shower. Leave me alone. Amen. Okay. Y'all are the best. I appreciate you guys so much. Lindsay said she's waiting for the ruler. It's right here. Just wait.
You should have slapped Dan with the ruler when he walked.
Yes, I should have just thrown it at him. I'm afraid it would have taken him out. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate. This was good for me. It was good for my heart too. So, God knows what he's doing, and I appreciate you guys.
He does. Thank you for saying yes right away.
Yeah.
That meant a lot. So thank you so much. Well, we love you. Have a great night.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.